Hi, friends. Welcome to today's video. We are absolutely going to be talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk today. I have so much to say from a karmic astrology point of view. You can 100% say these two are activated. We are going to explore in this video what the synastry is, why now, what's coming up ahead, and a third person I think is secretly involved, not directly, but historically is going to make a huge uh, battle at this game. So, on top of this, I'm going to talk to you about my Saturn and Aries technique and how to identify your 2025, or actually your trajectory of the next 3 years with Saturn and Aries. And I'm going to give you a technique, a calculation for you to do. And we are going to use this on Elon and Trump and our secret third person. And you should walk away from this video not only being highly entertained, but also learning how to apply this to your chart. So you're not a Elon, so you're not a Trump, and you can stay clear of karma's doorway in the next 3 years. Okay, so stay tuned and let's get right into it. All right, so here we are. I did pull up Donald Trump and Elon separately. I need this for my brain, and I think it makes it easier for you guys to follow. So I didn't do a synastry or composite chart because I want to break everything down as it organically is. But we're also going to talk about their progressed charts and just how I see things. Okay. And here's the first thing I want to say. When drama like this is happening, it is very rarely that a person is acting their sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign. You've got to go deeper. If a person is in balance and in harmony, drama wouldn't necessarily exist because that person, a healed person, is walking in neutral mode. And neutrality doesn't combust the way that this does if you do not have karma that you're balancing out. So when big moments like this happen, for the most part, depending on the chart, but for the most part, it's not the person's sun sign. So it's not Elon being an aggressive Cancer. No, it's more than that. And we are here taking a deep dive into what I think this is and how I see it in my practice and in my world. So Elon is coming in as a Cancer sun, Virgo moon, and Cancer rising. And I just want to say that Virgo moon is all over the news right now. Virgo is all over the news right now. We have it in Cassie Ventura, who's a Virgo. We have it in Sean Combs, who's a Virgo moon. And now we have it in Elon, who's a Virgo moon as well. So why is this happening though? Are all of these Virgo energies put on the judgment stand? Well, because it's their time. The South Node in Virgo is calling up the karma judgment, and Saturn handles the whiplash. Saturn is where you're going to get whipped. The South Node is so critical to everybody's spiritual development. I'm astounded at how much is underused. I understand also that everybody has their own practice, but in my world, in my space, in my head, it is invaluable, the information that you get from it. So Elon is on the very early trajectories of him having to address his emotional nature. And unfortunately for Elon, he's not able to really hide this because his Virgo moon is directly infusing his sun and rising sign. So if Elon Musk is not emotionally well, his chart is going to go haywire. Okay. And we've seen this pattern. We're in my house, we're pattern girlies. And we're looking at the patterns, okay? And Elon is patterning as well as Trump. We'll get to him and we'll get to Grandpa in a minute. I call him Donnie, not because I'm in love with him or because of any political thing. I just like to give everybody nicknames. And Joey was a nickname, Donnie's a nickname. I still haven't thought of a nickname for Elon, but it's coming. So, going into this, we are talking about the transiting south node and how the transiting south node is going to bring up the dirty, the stinks, it's stale. There's no way a plant can grow here because the ground is not fertile, it's dead. And so the universe says, we've got to clear this out. We've got to clean it out. Now, Elon, in his natal chart, has the south node in Leo. And what is the south node, by the way? The south node is the axis point of the moon, and it is said that the soul travels through the moon. So when we calculate it, the mathematical point of the axis of the moon, the highest peak and the lowest peak, we get the south node, that's the karma passive. And then we get the north node, that is where you're supposed to go, the trajectory you promised to be on. Now, Elon has the south node in Leo, okay? And the south node in Leo is so much of, we hear this a lot, the ego. It is spoiled behavior. It is entitlement. It is selfish. Now, his south node is also in the first house. So, yeah, this is the traces of a person who's been terribly egoistic and selfish and self-consumed. Okay. So whenever a person has the south node in Leo, they're working through their own shadows of entitlement. That's really hard for a lot of people to hear. And I actually say that some of the hardest placements are in Leo, Saturn in Leo, Chiron in Leo, South node in Leo. That's difficult and very difficult because the person needs to learn how to love themselves again and eradicate insecurity. And automatically, if a person has the south node in Leo, the sun is going to be wounded. The sun sign is going to be in what I call in detriment or fragile. It's karmically heavy, karmically dense. And this is what I call sometimes these planets get put under arrest, where we would never look at the sun and say it's technically bad or karmic in traditional astrology. But when we're looking at the deeper layers of this, that sun is compromised. Just like in my Cassie video, Cassie Ventura, her Venus was under arrest in a really serious way. Homegirl got chains on that Venus. It's just a terrible, it's not, I don't want to say it's terrible, but it did not forget. And in this case for Elon, his sun did not forget. His sun is here to master emotional regulation. He's a double Cancer, Mercury in Cancer. He's here to learn how to emotionally regulate. I cannot imagine raising Elon as a child. I actually think that Elon as a child was very, very difficult. Extremely difficult. This is a very challenging child. Why? Because not only does he have, that Virgo moon, but Saturn is at 1 degree of Gemini. His mind is on overdrive. This is a person who requires so much stimulation from other people, like a lot. And I don't know how much his parents could keep up with that. I really do. I want to interview his mom and ask her the real questions of raising Elon Musk. But all right, we get this good understanding. Now we're going to go into Donald Trump, but I want to talk to you about the Saturn and Aries technique. And because we need to start looking at this and how this plays right now. So, in consideration of Elon, he's on a trajectory with the North Node of being for the collective, of creating for people, for the collective, for humanity itself, not necessarily for him. Whenever he tries to do something for himself, it doesn't work. And when he tries to do something for the greater good, it works. And he's figured that out to a certain extent. He's figured out that if he makes cars for people, it works. If he does all these other things, it works. And when he does something for his self gratification, it does not work. And so Mars in his chart is very significant, but it's also the planet that he is most distant from, in my opinion, because his Mars is conjunct the North Node. So while his Mars is able to bring in an enormous amount of curiosity towards technology in the future, he may also not be fully comfortable expressing it because it's always new to him. It's always going to be new until he, adjusts his nervous system and just gives into that energy. But otherwise, if the South Node doesn't come creeping in, he's going to stay kind of distant from that Mars. So if I was his astrologer, we would be working on strengthening that Mars because it is divinely placed. It's a great planet for him. And it's taking him places. But again, what does his Mars want? His Mars actually wants to help people's wealth and to bring back money to people. It's kind of really interesting. It's in the eighth house of money and resources. So it's very financially supportive and caring and equalizing, I would say. Okay, so I do think that the entire trajectory of him working with Donald Trump is very interesting because I do think that he has been challenged with his Leo energy the last 2 years. Um, do I think that he helped Donald win? I do 100% because what we don't know about Elon, my speculations, is that I do believe Elon's using quantum technology. And we don't really know what he has, but this quantum intelligence is able to stay numerically ahead. And I do 100% think that he supported Donald's moves because everything was calculated so highly that there was no room for the opponent to come in at any second. There was no way for it to be stolen, is what I want to say. Because they were numerically ahead because of that quantum intelligence that could tell them the statistics of what energy is getting ready to do. And also Elon was able to massively spread the information that Trump was doing. So I have no doubt that he did help him win. And I do think that Trump repaid him in his own way by giving him a seat at the White House and giving him a significant role and letting that go through. But what is happening here is who Trump is. And I believe I've done a whole deep dive on Trump, but Trump is not a person that you could um take seriously. His word is very frail because Trump is the master of duality. Trump is in so many ways, he was born historic. Let's get into Trump's chart. I know I said I was going to say the Saturn thing, but let's just go with it. Trump. He's a Gemini sun, Sagittarius moon. Trump, we know, was born on a full moon eclipse. Trump's energy came to shatter. He is the disruptor. He is a disruptor. That is his energetic signature. And I have no doubt that Trump has done this in the human form before. And I have no doubt that he has extraterrestrial experience in this. He is a cosmic disruptor. And there isn't anything Donald has pretty much ever done that is small. And what I think is incredibly fascinating is that Donald is a 29-degree Leo rising. He is forever going to be gold everything. He is the king. He is the king. And he lets that be known. And nor is he embarrassed about it. Okay. He's also deeply mythological and deeply philosophical with his moon in Sagittarius. You cannot underestimate that. If you look at Trump's houses, they're filled with Greek mythology. He lived like the kings did, but that is inherent in his blood. With the South known in Sagittarius, this is what he's come from. So for him, I think it's just doing what the culture does or his family and ancestors do. And I say this because he's not a dumb guy. He's very directed. But what's new for Donald is the Gemini world. He does have the sun in Gemini and the North Node in Gemini. And this is him learning how to handle and manage the human brain and the human mind. And in many ways, this is where this crashes and burns because that mind, those mind games that Trump does, because absolutely he does them, he met his match with Elon. Elon has Saturn in Gemini. So this energy was like two best friends walking together hand in hand. So when it comes to the Gemini, both of them are learning how to navigate the human mind, the human expression. Okay. So Donald is coming from a cosmic intelligence, like out there in the ethers and the universal laws. And Elon is coming from, I've only ever had to care for myself. And therefore, I accrued karma because I just didn't at all ever consider anybody else or anybody else's mind. And so Elon's chart is it's a stamp and it is significant because when a person is born under an eclipse, and by the way, it's an eclipse within like an hour of it, this person's gonna be noticed around the world. Okay. So I have no doubt that Trump also, he does have relationship dilemmas. He does have Chiron in Libra, Jupiter in Libra. So he's not a stranger to being hurt by relationships. And however, let me look at my notes here. Trump, there we go. That's what I was going to say. Trump's North Node with the Sun and Uranus is the deal breaker here because wherever you have Uranus, there's so much disruption. And having Uranus so close to the Sun, this is what allows him to be the disruptor on top of the eclipse energy. So Trump is not a stable person, not somebody that you can be relaxed around. Okay. And I actually think it's kind of ironic that he has like a brick next to him in Melania. Her astrology is a brick. She is Taurus, Capricorn, Saturn strong in Taurus. It's like she is the brick. You can't move her, and yet this guy, you can't pin him down. Opposites track. Um, so yeah, with Donald, that Uranus energy is so strong. It really does cause the disruption that we are seeing. And if you notice, Elon Musk's Uranus is conjunct Donald's Chiron, which is not good for betrayal and wounding him and hurting him. And being so unstable. And I actually feel like this is I do believe Donald has a soft spot for Elon. One, because I think he saw a brother in him, two peas in a pod with all this Gemini energy. It's like finally someone that can match me. And then I also don't think that Donald minded his Elon's immaturity with his South Node in Leo, because Donald is low-key a softie with Saturn in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, Venus in Cancer. This He's very fatherly in this sense. And so I think he saw Elon like one of his kids in some ways, like a genius child that he adopted. So I do think that he had a soft spot for Elon. But at the end of the day, Donald's 29-degree Leo rising is so unforgiving and righteous that nobody gets away with disrespect. Nobody gets away with winning one over Trump, and that's why I think a lot of this is coming up now. So they have incredible synastry, but now I want to talk about why now. Why did this explode today? Today or now? And you know what it is? Baby guys, baby girls, baby boys, it's Saturn freshly into Aries. It's Saturn. And what's happened here is that these guys went into business together. And it's two humans who went into business, but the reality is maybe about four and four people. Like there's 8 people here with all this Gemini energy. And there was a lot of boundaries that could have been bad for each other. There's a lot of eggs in a basket here. So Elon's business is heavily dependent on the government. And Elon needs to have an ally as the president. He needs to have the ally because that is how Elon will be uh, historically successful. Because Elon is after the history books of changing the world with AI and technology. But yes, of course, his ego is getting in the way. But we are at the precipice of the world changing, of society changing with AI. And there's so much war going around. And it's a race in right now. It's a US race on who is going to get the best technology under AI that's going to change the world forever and change the people of the world and change society. And we can say that Elon has been one of the first people to do this with his cars and all of his other stuff that he does. Okay. He's been spearheading this and he's been at the top of his game for a while. And so there was one mistake that Elon did that he is trying to undo so bad. And I'm going to tell you what that is in a little bit. But there's one mistake that Elon is trying to erase from his career. And he's still making up for it 2 days. So do I think he initially had belief in Trump? No, I think he saw who can I have an entrance with in the government. Joey, we know, was not working for him because it wasn't enough when he was running for the second run. It wasn't an open door for him. He's already had 4 years with Joey, so that wasn't going to do it. Kamala also didn't do it for him. It didn't open the governmental doors for him. And part of this total speculation is because I don't think that he was committed to the occult in this Luciferian way. I still think he is some type of Luciferian, but something tells me it's like it hasn't been as committed as the others are. So I do believe that Elon has been fighting for his sovereignty. And he's kept it this far. But I'm going to say a little bit more about that too. However, there is a mistake that Elon is trying to recover from, and he's desperate. And this energy of desperation is what said, I will do everything and anything to get Donald into the presidency. So they became friends, and they did have a lot to offer each other. Donald has access and like merit credit to be a ruler, and Elon was willing to help him become a ruler by doing the back end of the quantum work that allowed Donald to get ahead. So they definitely worked together to become presidents because they both had something to gain, which are the government contracts that Elon would have got with Donald that he did have, and Donald would have massively improved those and significantly changed Elon's life to where it is a governmental regulation to pay Elon money. That's, in my opinion, what his goal was. Is I I want to make my business not optional. All of his businesses, he wanted to make them non-negotiable. You have to use these cars. You have to use this NASA stuff. NASA's taking over the world, or over the Americas. And this new technology is funded through NASA. So it's just a way of life. It's like the railroad tracks I'm thinking of. Imagine being someone who, being the business that, I don't know, started to make railroad tracks. You'd be a bajillionaire because of having something that it's the foundation of the new world. And I do believe Elon wants to be that last name. He wants to be that person who is the foundational person to set the standard and the normal for artificial intelligence in the everyday life. So and because of this, I think that Elon's business is all kind of capped out, because Elon's businesses for the most part have been a luxury or like optional or something that you could do. But right now, with us going into the age of Aquarius, it is now becoming the standard. So Elon is not the only person who's been working at this AI game. There is an entire industry of tech moguls that are trying to be the one. All of them are rushing their companies to the government so the government can take them up on it and be the next Google type of energy. So here we have both of these guys start working together, and then business kicks in as usual for Donald Trump. Donald gave him a seat, yet at the same time, Donald was not going to compromise his entire life's legacy for Elon. And I do believe Donald started putting up some boundaries with the finances. And I think there's also a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes too. And things, uh, contracts are constantly being negotiated with these two. Remember, there's no loyalty here, and there's also no stability. So unless something is done now, there you can't count on it, because Trump will change his mind. When it comes to long-term projects, I do believe Trump would change his mind. Um, and like I said, I think things went business as usual after he gave him his spot in the house, in the White House. Well, he just kept going on. He kept going on, and I do think my opinion is that some whatever happened in that EV bill that supposedly took off the mandate of monopolizing Musk's cars, that it took away the whole reason why he was helping Donald so much, because Donald wanted options. Gemini, he wants people to have options. He wants people to have American cars and all kinds of things. And Elon wanted the mandate that it's only this. So by removing that, I think I could see how that is the last chip. And so what's interesting here is that, why is this happening now? And we're going to get into Saturn and Aries. Saturn and Aries for everybody has significantly highlighted Mars. Saturn in Aries is going to ask you to define your I am in the best way possible. And if you've been watching my work, I've been training you guys and teaching you guys that the I am is coming. The I am is the next wave of the rebirth. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to be told who you are as it's always been. But you've had so many options to be the I am. You've had a cute little inspiration with the North Node in Aries. When the North Node was in Aries, it was like, you really should be you. It's great out here if you are you. And then we've had, so many other planets go through Aries. And then Neptune came into Aries and said, hey, you should really dissolve the old version of you and transform. And then all of a sudden, Saturn comes in like, are you done? Did you get it? You need to become anew. It's judgment time. It's a very stern. Why didn't you do it? Because Saturn doesn't allow time to process. Saturn doesn't allow. By the time Saturn has come around, you've had chances. You've had warnings and you had not done it. Saturn is here to weigh out and grade. So if you've been doing your homework of your I am affirmations, because I made you guys a book, I made you guys an I am affirmation book 3 years ago. That was it's an I am affirmation book per zodiac sign. Only if you got access to it, only if you saw the future. You could download it. It's $10. What was the point of that though? Why would I make that? Is it because like I want you guys to be cute and have I am Aries zodiac affirmations? Or is it truly because I know where the energy is going and I'm trying to essentially prepare everybody for that? So here we are, Saturn is in Aries, and now it's judgment time. Where are you to be seen? What type of person are you? And this will automatically, inherently activate everybody's Mars. So, depending on the karma that you hold, is your Mars healthy or is it unhealthy? And actually, because this is so fresh and new, I do believe that everybody's going to be, what's the word? Everybody's going to be rehabilitating their Mars. So even if you have good karmic resume, you're still gonna have to like whoa, like navigate excess amount of energy. So you're gonna have to do more work to like patience and regulate and all that stuff. So when it comes to this, Saturn and Aries activated the Mars in these two gentlemen's chart. And Mars is going to then activate your rising sign. And that's the equation that I'm giving you guys. Mars plus rising equals what you're working on. And if you go to my website, there will be a free ebook that you can download that will do the calculation for you. Because I'm working on this now. You're watching it, but it's going to come out in a few days. By the time you watch this, it's going to be up on my website. And that book is going to break down and it's going to do the math for you. So you're going to have a column where it says Mars in all the zodiac signs multiplied by your rising sign and what the area of work is for you. Because that's what Saturn in Aries is going to activate. It's going to activate your Mars and then it's going to trigger your rising sign. And you better have a grip on it because that's what Saturn is here judging. So what happens with these two fools is that there's a Mars explosion. Let's track that explosion down. 1 second here. Somebody's at pause. All right, there was someone at the door, but okay. So there was a Mars explosion here. What was the explosion? Let's track it down. For Elon, Mars in Aquarius, which is I want the future, like desperately want the future. Maybe even feel entitled for the future. Mars in Aquarius brought out his Cancer rising, which is the emotional suppression that has been the story of Elon's life. Okay. I do think that he's had to work through his emotions in emotional entitlement. Okay. So Mars activated his sense of emotional irregulation. He would have had to seek therapy. Just kidding. He would have no, really, he would have had to calm the ego because he's older now. It's not like this is a kid anymore who's just like crying and throwing a tantrum. But what happens is he goes into his adulthood tantrum, and his South Node in Mars kicks in, and South Node in Leo kicks in. Okay. And how do we know that this is the case? Because Mars right now in real time is in Leo. And I'm going to add something else, and I don't want to like confuse you guys too much, but oh no, that's for the future. I'm going to talk about the progress chart. Mars in Leo has activated his entitlement, his ego at at an all-time high. In Spanish, I'm Latina. So my mom would say a todo mame. Do you guys, for those of you who know, you know. He did this at todo mame. Um, this is like an all-time high for Elon, okay? And what is he fighting for? His future. The sole contract he made to be the future of America or the future of technology. Okay. North Node in Aquarius. I have the future templates. And he really does. Let's not deny it. Let's not deny it. He really has done a lot in the tech world. Whether he's Luciferian and has dark agendas, everybody's worried about that. Regardless, he's done it. He's doing it to some extent. All right. Um, Donald, his Mars is in Leo. He has a Mars return happening. His Mars is royalty, loyalty to himself, the prestige. And you cannot, I'm sorry, but I don't see Donald as entitled and spoiled like that early Leo energy. Donald comes in with a PhD in that shit. So he is the king. It's been established. He is the throne. He is the mythology. He is the archetype. That is him. And that's not karmic for him. You hear that? Donald's royalty is not karmic for him. It is him, and it's neutralized to some extent. Elon's king and Elon's desire to be the king is heavily karmic and dense. Remember, when Elon does something for himself, he gets his hand slapped by karma. He wants to be Trump. He wants to be the king. And you know how they say that this is an ego battle? For the most part, Elon probably got to the point where he wanted to be the one. And I do think it's hard for Elon to be the side. And he was sticking it through because of so many reasons of insecurity. He was sticking it through. Now, when you take away his purpose, which is the big checks, that's when that ugly side came out. But nevertheless, Donald is Leo on Leo. Saturn in Aries activated Leo and Leo for Donald. He has no problem maintaining his kingdom. He's going to do that. I think it's crazy wild that Elon said Trump has 3 years and Elon has his whole lifetime. Because I that stung. Looking at this, that would sting Donald. Because Donald wants an entire lifetime. And the truth is he really only has 3 years. So I also want you guys to notice that this Mars and Leo in Synastry also came over to Donald. So this would have hit Donald's 12th house of hidden enemies. So that's pretty intense for him. This fight is a 100% real. Like this is not staged. I do think it's 100% real. And in a crazy way, I do think that there's a timeline where they would get back together. I do think that they would get back together in a crazy way. I feel like there right now there is a timeline, but I don't. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about the future now. Why is Elon also pissed at Trump? In my opinion, allegedly. And now I'm gonna introduce the third person. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So Elon did do a mistake in his career, and he's scrapping for air. And the mistake was letting his ego get in the way of the deal that he had with Sam Altman. Elon is truly the creator of ChatGPT. And Elon brought life to Sam Altman. If it wasn't for Elon, Sam Altman's business would have taken longer, I think. But Elon's own ego got into the way of that business deal. And so what happened is that Elon and Sam Altman start ChatGPT and AI, and that's the true universal AI because everybody has cars optional right now. Everybody has like NASA. Not so many people are involved with that, but the trajectory that's Sam Altman is going with ChatGPT is the next level. Okay. Now, what's very interesting about Sam Altman is that he is so much love and light. I really like his chart, and we're going to talk. Actually, we need to talk about it in another video, do a deep dive. Sam Altman is coming in also as an eclipse baby, but he is not a disruptor. Sam Altman is a new moon baby. Taurus sun, Taurus moon, North Node in Taurus. That is such a benefic placement to be born under. So Sam Altman is not a disruptor. He is a starter, and he is a focused starter. All of this Taurus energy, he doesn't have time for games. He is slowly and steady, slowly and steady, slowly and steady. And that is working. His ability to stay focused on the one thing he's good at is putting him at the trajectory of being a historical name in the history books. You guys got to understand that these people do not live ordinary lives. They are living for the history books, exactly the same way that Kim Kardashian is. When you see Kim Kardashian go to court and make it a fashion show, she's not doing it for June 6, 2025. She's doing it for her legacy. For in 100 years, she is remembered as a glorious figure that always maintained her grace. That's what will remain, is those pictures. What you and I think will be erased tomorrow. It'll be erased in 10 years. It doesn't matter long term. So these characters, these people are living for the history books, not for today. And that's the race that's happening in America with technology into the age of Aquarius. So with these two, Sam Altman is on the rise 100%. Sam Altman does have Jupiter and Aquarius too, which is interesting. And they could have had something really good with Sam Altman's Jupiter conjunct his Mars. But again, Elon's fire is in detriment. His ego, that fire south node, is in detriment. And the pitfall of Sam is, well, I haven't really searched into his birth chart, but that south node in Scorpio really does say I want it all. If Sam begins to become stingy, then that could make his little world choppy. Nevertheless, I do believe that Sam has contracts with the government and Sam has contracts with Donald. And those are going to, at the rate of now, they're going to last the test of time. And so Elon doesn't have that. So when they say that his business is falling, I don't think it's necessarily because the car's in NASA and all the other stuff he does. I think it's because he doesn't have Chat GBT, or he doesn't have a significant position in the AI Google type of version. And I could be wrong too, by the way, guys, because I'm not an Elon expert. I'm an astrologer. I could be wrong that he doesn't have a business, but and there's another one leading, but this is how I see it in my world, and I'm just sharing you guys with what my brain can compute and input and bring out. So when it comes to this, I think that this is Elon's thorn is Sam Altman, and he cannot get him out the way. Not when he has so many contracts with the government, and it's gonna only take off even more. And if at the trajectory that Sam is going, he will become a historic universal household name. We just gotta, it's just time has to do time. So that this is also why I feel that Elon went into emergency mode, because he's losing it. He's losing it unless he were to humble himself and get into good graces with Sam, or I don't even know what that would look like. But now let's go into the future. Okay, what do I see happening? What's the trajectory? Number one, Elon's progressed moon is at 29 degrees of Leo. I think he's gonna continue having another erratic month. um I think he's gonna continue having another erratic month where he's gonna do all the things to save his ego. And then his progressed moon is going to go into Virgo. So I think he's going to be more on the heels of starting a new business or a new job or a new trajectory. And I do have to be honest to say that I do think that Elon has recently signed a significant soul contract into the bad side, into the occult, because of his socked up eye. And if you know, you know, I'll talk about this more on Substack if it gets there. But I do think that Elon has made a deal that's like a no turning back deal, which is what Trump calls the Trump deranged syndrome. And that's just Elon being bought out, not for money, but for ego now, for the evil win here. Because immediately after, like, that's when he left. He left with an initiation in his face. He had to leave. He went to the other team. And after that, he's gone berserk with Trump. So what I think is going to happen is I think he's going to now be propelled on the liberate on the liberal stage, on the Democratic stage. He's going to be propelled, and not because Elon cares about politics, but because he's looking for the deal, the Sam Altman deal, that's going to make his businesses non-negotiable. That's what he's looking for, in my opinion. Now, Trump, I'm not too worried about him. His progressed moon is at 16 degrees of Scorpio. So this is in his third house. And then the North Node is going into his seventh. I think he's going to have more allies come in for him. I don't think that he's going to be left out in the cold, but I do think that Elon is going to give him a humongous run for his money. And interestingly, Sam Altman also has the progressed moon at 19 degrees of Scorpio, which is working behind the scenes. Now, another key player that I didn't mention here, but we will strategically fit in, is that who is truly in the middle of Elon, Trump, Sam, and everything is JD Vance. And there is money out for JD's blood. What he is the hot ticket in the commodity. And it's always been about him. Low key, what is JD gonna do in 3 years? So everybody is trying to get their hands on JD Vance for 3 years' time, because he has the next story. So JD Vance is somebody else that we will look into. But for now, this is what I have. And so you guys, you guys do have homework. I'm going to give you some homework. If you're watching this, um, you need to work with yourselves. What does this mean is that what with Saturn going into Aries, that trajectory is going to bring up everybody's Mars to the front center. And it is more probable for you to get into quarrels and fights and arguments and everything. You have to mind your Mars. That's the quote. You have to mind your Mars. And so what you need to do is look at your birth chart, identify what sign you have Mars in, and push that over to the rising sign, because Mars is going to make your rising sign louder. So for the complete answer of this equation, go to my website. There is a free download that you can do that's going to tell you how to work with Saturn in Aries, what it means for you, how long it's going to be in there. And on top of that, your specific combination of Mars plus your rising sign, and you're going to get an interpretation of what that means for you. And you need to get very comfortable studying that energy so you don't come into accidents like this. Okay. And you are karmically correct. Okay. Now you can go to my website, briasamai.com. And I do want to say something else is that I do free daily horoscopes every single day on my website. There's a free daily horoscopes tab where you can get the transcript of my voice horoscopes that I publish on Substack. So if you would like to hear my podcast on daily horoscopes, it's me talking a good 10, 15, 20, whatever comes up. It's my BFF time. You can subscribe to Substack and listen. You can also get to know yourself by purchasing my Karmic Patterns report. That is right here. And this is you through the lens of karma. And anybody's able to get a digital copy of their birth chart on my website. And this is 50% off. So if you order that, usually the turnaround time is 1 to 2 days after you purchase. Because I work on those every single morning. They are worth your time because they do not sugarcoat. They will tell you your karmic signatures from this lifetime and past life, exactly the way that I read. Another thing you can do, of course, is join my Cosmic Alchemy Academy, which is where I mentor you guys. And we talk every Saturday and we talk all about the astrology. So it's a group mentorship. Nevertheless, if you want to book me for a private session, you can do this on my website. Go to briasamai.com and book your private session with me to meet over Zoom. All right, friends. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you made it this far, I always like to say this. Saturn is my favorite planet, and that's because he rules over time. And that is what you guys have given me today is your time. And so I'm super thankful, super appreciative, and super grateful for everybody spending time with me today. I'm also thankful for your comments, thankful for your likes, for your subscribes, for everything that you do to interact with my channel in this way, because it is very powerful. That is your power. All right, friends, thank you guys for being here. I'll see you on TikTok live stream to do readings for you, mini live stream readings any day. Just go to my Instagram for my schedule. Bye, friends.